Hey lovelies, so today I'm going to be showing you how to save money and time and get the most out of your freezer. So traditionally people used to ferment and preserve, and of course now we have freezers. I feel like majority of us don't actually get the most out of our freezer, so that's why I wanted to make this video today. This would have to be my #1 tip for saving money and time in the kitchen and making the whole food way of eating actually doable. Hey babes, welcome to my channel. I'm Lucia if you don't know me. So today is video 3 of a video series I'm making called Nourishing Know. I'm going to give you a sneak peek inside my freezer. I'm going to walk you through all of the different things that we keep in there and why I love it so much. Really, I think it just makes life so much easier knowing that you have some food on hand for those times when you're just too tired to cook. Freezing food also makes it so that you can take advantage of food when it's on sale. This is especially useful for people who don't live close to farmers markets and don't have access to quality organic veggies. So we actually moved to the country a couple years ago, and before that I never used the freezer, and it was always just kind of like a graveyard of forgotten gross things. But honestly, if you can make friends with your freezer, you can save so much time and energy because you can just cook things in bulk and you don't have to eat the same meal every night. When you get home late, or even if you've been on holidays and you haven't done a shop, when you get home, you've always got something in the freezer. It's a great way to make the most of the seasons, and it means that you can be smart and cook large portions, but you don't have to eat the same meal every night, so you can have variety. Essentially, it can build up a library of different soups and stocks and stews and fruit and all of that goodness. Think about it like your present self doing a kindness for future self. If you're making an elaborate meal or something that takes a little bit more energy that you might not do all of the time, then you just make a double batch and you can pop some in the freezer. Just a note on sourcing quality produce. I really think it is so worth just investing a little bit of time and energy into thinking about where you're going to get your veggies, where are you going to get your meat, where are you going to get your dry goods. A lot of people will stress the quality of getting meat, and I would 100% be behind that, but I also think that we should really apply that across the board. So just thinking, what is the best possible quality ingredients that I can afford? It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to buy 100% organic, but just take it into account that you really are voting with your dollar. So prioritizing food and knowing that the highest quality foods you can buy, not necessarily the most expensive foods, but they will have the most nutrients and they will be the most nourishing for you. We tend to have broths and stock-based dinners really regularly, so they're super nourishing for your gut because all of that glycine helps to build up the gut lining and heal and seal the gut so that you can absorb nutrients from your food properly. It has a flow-on effect to all sorts of things. When you're addressing your gut health, you're really addressing your mental health, your vitality, and your ability to get the most out of life. That's the way I see it anyway. So the main broths and stocks that we use are things like fish stock, chicken stock, bone broth, pork broth. Between those 4, that makes up the base of all of our soups and stews that we cook. So as an example, if I was gonna make like a green veggie curry, I would pop the fish stock as the base of that, and it just means it gives it an enormous nutrient boost, and you will feel it when you're drinking it. You'll just be like, you just can't get enough of it. Another reason why I love having stocks and broths for dinner is because it's just so easy on the digestion. So the difference between a bone broth and a stock just means the bone broth has been cooked for longer. So that's more like 12 to 24 hours rather than a stock is going to be just like a couple of hours. It's just great to know that you don't have to necessarily cook a chicken broth for 12 hours to get all of those amazing health benefits. You can just do it for like 2 to 4 hours and it will still be great. A good tip as well is making it in a pressure cooker if you're just craving a chicken soup that night and you want to make it up ASAP. We've actually stopped using the slow cooker as much. Most of the time when we're making a stock or a soup or anything like that, we will generally use this. So we'll just make a ginormous one. I guess most of the time it would probably be about 6 liters. And that's for just 2 of us. I would definitely recommend investing in a big heavy based pot like this. I will probably make more videos on stocks in the future, but just for now, it's really simple. All you do is chuck a fish frame or some bones into a pot and put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some salt, and you can put herbs, onion, garlic, and celery if you want, but you can literally just leave it, the bones, salt, and apple cider vinegar and water. That's just the very base of that. And then you'll cook it from anywhere between like 3 hours to 12 hours. Then you strain off all of the ingredients and you're just left with the broth. Freeze it in silicone bread containers, and we find that that is the perfect amount for 2 people. So if we were freezing soup or anything like that, any liquid meal, we would also use the bread tin for that as well. If you're just one person, or maybe your partner is vegetarian and you eat meat, so you just want to be able to have a serving of one, then I would recommend using like large silicone ice cube trays, or silicone muffin tins work really well as well. So once you've frozen your soup in something like this, you can just actually pop it out, just stack them up and put them into like a recycled plastic bag, or even a paper bag, and remember to label it. That way you can know what's what, because you think you'll remember, but so many times I've just had mystery bricks in the freezer, like, what? So, if I see some delicious lemongrass at the farmer's market, I will just buy a stack of that, and then I will make a big fresh green curry paste with galangal and ginger and all that yumminess. Pop them into ice cube trays and freeze them. Or pesto, or another condiment I like to make called zug, a Middle Eastern one. When it comes to vessels for freezing in, you can freeze in glass jars. Just make sure you leave a bit of headroom if it's liquid, because liquid expands. Probably my number one meal for getting home from work late and need to eat something ASAP would be a broth-based meal. I would defrost some broth, I would chuck some rice noodles in there, and maybe fry, if I'm not too exhausted, I'll fry up some onion and garlic first so it's like got some flavor. Or put a bit of curry paste in there. You can quite easily add some coconut cream as well and go for a bit of a luxury type thing, and then just pimp it with whatever herbs or sprouts or nuts or anything. Come up with a whole variety of different ways of pimping your food. Obviously, one really great thing having a chest freezer enables you to do is buy meat in bulk. So buying a whole animal and sharing it with your friends if you can't eat that whole thing. We tend to buy maybe like a quarter of a cow at a time, and we find that it's just the best way of having affordable grass-fed quality meat. Buying a whole animal is also really amazing for waste, because it means that you can use every single little part. So this concept is called eating nose to tail. So you'll be eating things like, the liver or the organs and the tongue, and using the bones and the skin and all of this stuff. Not only does it mean that it's less wasteful, but it allows for something called nutrient synergy. So when your body uses vitamin D, it actually uses up your vitamin A stores as well. So if you're eating something like liver, where both of those things are present, it means that you're not depleting the other. One of the main things we use our freezer for is freezing fruit. So the things we like to freeze are mango, and yes, of course they don't grow down here, but whenever we see them on sale, we pick up as many as we can. And they make delicious ice cream. You can just blend them up just as they are, just frozen mango, and it is scrumptious. And of course, bananas. So whenever you see bananas, and it's also great because you can just pause them at that perfect level for banana bread, when they just got those brown speckles, and you can just take them out of the freezer and defrost them, and you're ready to make banana bread. We like to use frozen bananas for making chocolate and ice cream. It's definitely a household favorite. It's great to have some treats in the freezer for those times when you're just like, I need something delicious. If we've made some Russian custard, we'll pop the leftovers in the freezer as well. And of course, raw chocolate is the main one, really. Another thing we use our freezer for is to freeze bread. So I like to make gluten-free sourdough bread, and we started making 3 loaves at a time. Now we make 6 loaves at a time, and it's so good because it basically means we only have to cook bread less than once a month. So I did want to include as well that a lot of people like to store their whole foods in the freezer as well. So things like nuts, seeds, and flowers. I don't do that at the moment, however I probably will in the future, and I should do that. So anything that has a potential to go rancid. Currently the only thing I keep in the freezer is almond meal because I feel like that would easily oxidize. I also keep cacao butter in there as well for making chocolate. All right, lovelies, you've made it to the end of another video. Well done. Appreciate you. Make sure you smash that like button, share this with your friends, can think who would benefit from this video right now, and send it to them. Subscribe and click that bell button because that will mean that you won't miss the next one. So the next video is I'm going to be going into all the different kitchen tools I love and the kitchen appliances that make my life so easy. So that's going to be the last video of this video series. If you missed the other ones, make sure you go back and check them out. I do offer one-on-one health coaching. So if you are wanting to have a little bit more help with all of this stuff and getting into your kitchen flow, then I'm doing free 20-minute chemistry calls. So that's just like you get to know a little bit more about what coaching could do for you, a little bit about me, see if it would be a good fit, and see what kind of change we could create in your life. I think that's the end. Yeah. Oh, I love matcha. So it means you don't, it's, smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell. I'm really excited to do this, guys. I've never done this before. All the YouTubers do this. Peace.